Welcome to the Well Good stage at the Lockdown Festival. My name is Hannah Austin and I'm going to be doing a talk on how to stay positive during isolation. But before I get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to the organisers of the Lockdown Festival, which is Lorraine, Sam and Hannah. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible, and it's all about donating for charity. The charities that we're trying to raise money for is NHS Charities Together and Oxfordshire Mind. So if you can donate, please do. Such a great cause, and this is what it's all about, so it'd be amazing if you can. Before I get started, I hope you're all safe and well, and I hope that I can just share a bit of joy into your life right now, because we are living in such crazy times, and let's, try and make it as positive as we can. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Hannah Austin and I am a fashion and wellness blogger based in and around Oxford. I have been blogging for a couple of years now, but wellness has taken a focus for me in the last kind of year or two. I read a lot of self-help books, and bringing happiness into my life and into other people's lives is something that really makes me happy. So hopefully I can do that today. My talk is going to be all about how to stay positive during isolation. So I've put together a few tips and things that have made me really happy while we've been going through this period of time. And hopefully you can take something from it and find something that you really enjoy as well. So let's get started. So my first thing I've been doing is I've put together a bit of a house list. So all the things that are kind of been niggling at you while you've been working in normal times, and found that, I just don't have time to clear out my wardrobe, or I just don't have time to clear out the kitchen. Like, now is the time to do it. So I put together a list and I've kind of ticking everything off like every day. Just doing a little task will make you feel a bit lighter. And also, we're in our houses so much at the moment, and if you're in a kind of cluttered environment, that can cause so much anxiety in your head. So for me, clearing out the house has been a really good one. Also, I've been going through old photo albums. Now, you may have had those holiday snaps where you took 500 pictures of the same scenery, and you just don't need all of them and you want to declutter a bit. So I've been putting together kind of scrapbooks of my favourite photos. It might be a holiday, might be a time period, a special birthday. Organising all the photos and making collages is a great thing to do. It's also something fun to do with the kids, or just to do as a family, really. And putting together a collage, putting it up and thinking, I made that and that's a special time in my life, is a really nice way to kind of cheer you up in these times. Another thing is to try something new. I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of things on social media where people are all of a sudden learning a musical instrument, or trying to learn a new language. There's so many online courses out there that are available where you can learn anything that you're interested in, and a lot of them are free. And also, you might even have if you are working from home, there might be online courses available to you that relate to your work, which, I don't know if you can ask your manager that there might be something for you there. And it's a great way to try and gain some skills while we're in this period, and try and find, there might be a hobby out there that you've never tried, and by doing it, you're going to find something else that you love in life. And I always find that learning something is such a great way to feeling fulfilled and feeling happy. So there's so many different things you could do. There's music to painting. There's so many different things out there. And I think a lot of people are posting on social media ways you can get involved. There's kind of chefs helping you learn new recipes, personal trainers giving you new workouts. So try something new, try something you haven't tried before, and you never know, it might be something that you really love and you've never tried, and that's going to be such a great way to find out. So that kind of leads me on to my next point, which is doing what makes you happy. So for me, I've done a little list. I'm very into my to-do list. You'll kind of find this out during the talk. So I've done a little bit of a list of things that make me happy. So in normal times, that could have been meeting up with family and friends, walking in a park, going to the cinema, but you can kind of do an isolation version. So I've put together things that make me happy while I've been at home. So that could be calling family and friends, listening to music, reading a book, cooking a new recipe. And for me, when I'm having kind of a down day or a down hour and I think, okay, I've got an hour to spare, I have time to do a hobby of my choice, that's the time when to do something and go to your what makes me happy list and think, I'm going to do one of those things. And it's such a mood changer. So if you're feeling a bit down and you go do something that you know makes you happy, it can change your mood so much. So that's another really fun thing to do. And that hobby might be one of those things that you've just learned as a new skill. So it kind of like trying new things and finding new hobbies, it's such a great way to change your mood and find something that you love. Another thing, which again it goes on with my hobby, is not being able to see family and friends has been such a weird thing, and I'm a very huggy person, and not being able to kind of give your family and friends a hug and see them in person and have chats and catch ups and do fun activities together, I know must be very sad for some, and I can definitely relate. So I've been doing video calls with my nana recently, which has been so much fun, and I think keeping in touch with your loved ones as well as work colleagues, we're all video calling and zooming in each other now, but keeping in touch and actually speaking not face to face, screen to screen with people, it's so much more personable than just sending a text message. So if you are able to, and you know family and friends that you can video call, then that's such a lovely way to keep in touch. I've actually put another list together. Oh gosh, this is kind of a common theme in this recording. So I've put a bit of a list together of all the family and friends that are really close to me, but also kind of friends that I know that might not be living with anybody else or on their own, and I know are particularly going to be feeling really isolated during this period. So I've put together a list of all of these people, and then every kind of week or so I go over it and I kind of tick off all the people that I know I've either messaged, video called, phone called, or WhatsApped, whatever kind of message on Instagram, whatever it is. Put together a list and then tick it off, and then you know that you've kind of kept in touch with those people, and you can kind of look and go, oh okay, I haven't messaged so and so for a couple of weeks, I really should. And it's just keeping an eye on people in that way, so they don't feel like they're forgotten about or that they're missing out, because especially people that are isolating on their own, I can't even imagine. I'm very lucky, I'm isolating with my mum, and she's my best friend, so I'm having a whale of a time during isolation. But all those people that don't have someone that they're living with, or even if you're living with family but you are finding it a bit hard, calling and keeping in touch with people that make you happy is such an important thing, and makes you happy. And also finding out about what other people are doing and realising it's not just you going through the situation, it's the whole world, and they are going through the same weird things, like not being able to get flour in the supermarket, and you can kind of have a bit of a laugh about things and make it a little bit more lighthearted in such a crazy time. I recently did a live video on my Instagram, because I do a Wellness Wednesday live every week on my Instagram, and I have a different guest, and I was doing it last week, and one of my cousins that lives in Canada actually messaged during the live, and it was so funny to me because I thought, oh my goodness, someone all the way over the world is seeing my face right now, kind of interacting me with it in this way. And it just kind of makes you realise that social media can be such a positive, and especially while we're going through this time, to be able to keep in touch with family. But like I said, if you can video call family and friends, I find that the most rewarding way. Instead of just sending a text message, it's just that kind of seeing someone is so much better. And now that I've got my nana being able to video call, it's been such a joy to see her. And she's not the most technological person, but my cousin luckily is there available to help her set it up and everything, and it's just such a lot of fun. So definitely, if you can, call family and friends. Another thing that I have found has been a real game changer is limiting how much I watch the news. So when this all first started, I think because of the shock of everything, I felt like, I don't know about you, but I felt like I was watching the news like 24/7, and I felt every headline, it was like, oh my gosh, shock, shock, shock. And the anxiety that came from that was just really unhealthy. And I think particularly watching the news kind of post 6 o'clock, when you're relaxing, when it's the time when you want to relax and kind of feel less stressed, so you can have a peaceful sleep. And watching the news can be such filled with such anxiety, and so I've kind of put a limit on how much I watch the news. So obviously there's the daily briefings every day, and the news is on constantly all day every day, and at the end of the day, it's not going to be changing very much day to day what's going on. It's very sad news and it's very upsetting. So I limit my news watching to either kind of checking in the morning to see the headlines, mainly to see, if there's any big announcements that have happened, and then, like see the daily briefing. But anything kind of post evening, or kind of watching it kind of more than 2-3 times a day, I've just found it causes so much anxiety, and it's such a stressful time, and it can make you really nervous and really scared. And I just think that there's no need to kind of cause yourself any more stress than you're going through. So for me, limiting the news has been a really, really big thing, which kind of leads on to making your phone a happy place. So for me, I found that because we're on our phones so much more during this crazy time, I don't know about you, but I found that I'm looking at a screen so much more than I ever have, because when you normally would be talking to a person, you're now talking on a screen. When you normally would be in an office, you're again talking to a screen. It's such a weird concept. But I recently saw a survey that I think Instagram had done that said there was 40% more people on Instagram and using it every single day. And that's a staggering amount of consumption of social media that we're doing right now. And I don't know, there's so many TikTok videos out there that just everybody is on their phones. And so for me, making my phone a happy place has been such a game changer. So I've done these few little things, and it's just every time you pick up your phone, it just makes me a lot happier. So a few things I've done on my phone is, first of all, I've changed my wallpaper. So obviously you have the one on your lock screen, and then when you open it, you have another one as well. So I try and make that a inspirational quote, or at the moment, I've actually got it on as a beach in Australia, because it just looks so beautiful. And seeing the sea, it reminds me of holidays, it reminds me of calm, and I think of the noise of the waves going by, and it's such a lovely feeling when I look at it, because it's so bright, it's so beautiful, and it just makes me feel happy when I pick up my phone, rather than thinking, oh gosh, what notification is this? So first of all, changing your wallpaper to something that makes you happy instead of just a random background. Make it something that makes your heart sing, and then when you pick up your phone, you've got that instant positiveness. Changing your wallpaper is the first one. Secondly is, I know my friend said to me the other day about this, which I thought was such a good idea, was because you're watching about kind of coronavirus on the news all the time, there's no need really for you to have it on social media as well. If you want to, if you enjoy watching your news from social media, obviously that's different. But if you want your social to be a positive place and not filled with anything to do with what's going on right now, you can actually block the word coronavirus on certain social media. I know that you can definitely on Twitter. Obviously, I'd have to check it out on different platforms. But if you block kind of coronavirus content from your social media, then instantly you're making that a much better place. And then in turn with that, is by blocking coronavirus content and also following pages that have just purely happy news. If there's some really cool like happy news pages out there, especially on Instagram. If you go and have a look, there's like literally the happy news, and all it does is post good news stories even during now. I mean, we've got things like Captain Tom Moore, and he obviously turned 100 recently and raising so much money for charity, and that's just brought such good spirit into, I think, definitely the nation's hearts. But following these kind of happy news stories is such a buzz when you're looking at your social media. It just brightens your day so much more. I've actually created a whole Instagram page with just pure positivity and light during coronavirus. So I created this page called Become Your Best Self. You can find it if you follow me on Instagram as well. And all I post about on that page is all anxiety tips, things to do while we're all at home, just anything that I find that is kind of self-isolation help. I post that content on my page, and by me posting it I feel better because I'm looking at the content and taking it in, and I hope that by seeing more content like that, people can kind of get like some sort of joy out of that. So seeing that on your social media is such a great thing to do as well. So you've got the wallpaper, you've got blocking coronavirus, you've got following good social media channels that are happy news stories. And also, I just had to think then, kind of going through your apps. Another kind of decluttering one, like you've done with the house, is going through your apps and deleting the ones that you've never used before, deleting the ones that you hardly ever use, and kind of downloading apps that you know are going to help you in your life and be more organized, or even to help you learn a new skill. So there's amazing apps like Duolingo if you want to try and learn a new language. There's apps out there to help you with your finances. There's note-taking apps. I mean, I use Trello. That's a really cool one. So it's all kind of very colour-based and board. So if you're a visual person like I am, that's a great way to kind of plan and note-take. So there's so many like organisational apps out there, and apps that are there to help you and make your life a little bit easier. So go through your apps, get rid of those ones that you don't need, and just clear up your phone and make it a less stressful environment, so that when you look at it you think, oh, that's my happy wallpaper, and then you go onto social media and that's my happy news. Make it a happy space for yourself, because then every time you pick it up, it's just going to be a really, really nice thing to do. Moving on, if like me you're finding you're spending a lot of time on your phone and your screens, your iPads, the TV, it's just everything is screen. A lovely thing to do during isolation is to just read a little bit more. I know that there's so many people where they say, I'm reading this book, but I'm only on the first chapter. I just haven't had time to read it. You have the time now. This is the time to be like, you know what, I'm gonna read that book that I keep meaning to, that's on the bookshelf. This is the time. I've got like 3 books on the go right now. I just kind of pick it up when I want. But it's so nice to just, an escapism is such a great way. I mean, if you are really into kind of books like thriller books or just kind of real escapism, reading can be such a joyous time. And also reading before bed is so good for helping you sleep. I read a fantastic book which I really highly recommend called Why We Sleep. I can't for the life of me remember who it was by, but if you type that into Google, it will come up because it's a really popular book. It's fantastic. It's got so many interesting facts about how important sleep is. And I know a lot of people have been struggling with sleep during this isolation time, because we're going to bed and we've got anxiety and we've got all these things in our heads at the moment. So limiting the news, limiting screen time and reading a bit more could be something that really, really helps you when you're trying to get to sleep at night. So I've been reading before going to bed, and that's been really lovely. What am I currently reading at the moment? I just finished a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, which is fantastic. All about kind of, if you're wanting to go for something, just go for it, and when you think big, you're gonna do big, sort of thing. So that was a really good book. I'm also reading an Australian travel guide. The Australian theme is there. So I really would love to go. And also it's kind of making me think, once this is all over, I can't wait to look into going there, and it's getting me all excited. And and learning about another place and another culture, it's so interesting, and getting an insight into what other places are like is really cool. And I'm just about to read a book that my friend got me, called, it's like Good Vibes, Good Life. It's by a guy he's all over Instagram. I think it's Vex King. And he wrote this book, and it's all about good vibes. I love a good self-help book and just positivity. So reading books like that also make me really happy. But obviously everybody's got different things that they like to read. So if drama, thrillers are your thing, do something that is a bit of escapism and enjoy reading that book that you haven't for ages. So that's definitely something that I would recommend. Lots of inspirational quotes as well, and poems are out there at the moment. I know I've been sharing a lot on my Instagram, and there's some really, really funny kind of memes and things going around, so definitely things like that are really, really funny, and sharing them with your family and friends and having a bit of a laugh is a really, really fun thing to do. Something I didn't mention as well is, if you are calling a family and friends, a great thing to do is, so many people have been doing these quiz nights and things, and I think that's such a fun idea, and playing games and doing things you would normally do if you were together over the screen can be a really, really fun thing. Moving on to my next point of being a bit kinder. Now, whenever I do something that is a kinder act, I get so much joy from it, because you're making someone else happy, and the most happy you can make yourself is when you do something that's selfless. So many ideas of being kind. I know a lot of kind of brands and things are doing challenges at the moment, and there's so many out there of kind of being generous, being kind. So if you're baking something, giving something to a neighbour. Recently our neighbour got us some self-raising flour because we could not get any anywhere, and doing those kind of selfless acts is just so sweet and makes you feel better. I recently sent a letter and a book that I loved reading to two of my friends, just because I thought it would be a really nice thing to do, and I know that they'd find joy out of reading the book. So I wrote them a letter, and letter writing is so underrated, especially, again, because text messages can be so impersonal. Receiving a letter and getting something in the post is actually quite exciting these days, because we're so technology based. So if you can write a letter to someone, a family friend, or someone you know is alone, it's such a lovely idea and can put a smile on someone's face. So being kind and writing letters and thinking of other people, and knowing that other people are going through this crazy time just like you're not alone in this, and bringing kindness and joy to someone else can bring you so much as well. So definitely being kind. Practicing gratitude is something that I am so passionate about. I started doing a gratitude journal I'd say a year ago now, and I cannot even explain the benefits of doing something like this. So you might write a diary, or you might just be into journaling, but gratitude journaling is such a good way of improving your mood, because sometimes you're kind of in your head, you're moaning about things that you're not happy with or things that you don't have, but sometimes you need to take a step back and think, there is so many things I do have. Especially in the times that we're in, I am so grateful for my health, because I know there's so many people out there that are struggling, and the anxiety that they must have. So health is a major thing. And also I'm so grateful for my family and friends. I wouldn't be as sane as I am if I didn't have them to talk to. So practicing gratitude, and I don't personally do it every day, but once a week, just reflecting on the week and thinking, what am I grateful for? What has happened this week that has brought me joy, and what do I want to achieve for the next week? If you're a very highly kind of productive person and motivated person, I find looking forward to the rest of the week and going, right, what am I going to achieve this week? But also reflection. It's so important to reflect on what's happened previously, because sometimes you realise something that you've been wishing for ages, when it happens, you forget that you need to be grateful for that moment already happening. And so reflection is an amazing thing, such a mood booster. So I think out of everything I've said, that's probably one of the most important things I would recommend. Practicing gratitude at least once a week if you can is such a great way to reflect and think, you know what, it's not that bad. I'm at home, but I'm safe, I'm well, and my family and friends are well, and that's the most important thing. Which leads me on to, if you're not feeling okay, that is perfectly okay. We are going through a time in our lives that we never expected, and I know when 2020 started, I didn't think that I'd be talking to you guys on a screen as I am now, but it is completely okay to not be okay. And if you're having a bad day or a bad hour, that's okay. Just take a minute, take a break, do something that makes you, relaxes you, meditate, have a nap. Like, just don't worry about it, because we're all in this crazy time and it's so fueled with anxiety that there's no point putting any more pressure on yourself than you have to. So don't feel like you have to be happy all the time. It is okay to not be okay. And which brings me on to one of my last points, which is, it's not going to be forever. We're all in this together. We are all going through this together, not just as a nation, but as a world. And it's not going to last forever. And when this is all over, if you don't do all the things that you wanted to do, like try that hobby or clear out the house, you're only going to be annoyed with yourself that you didn't do it. So for me, I've been making sure that, again, not putting pressure on yourself, but also if I don't do these things now, I'm only going to regret after all this is over, thinking, why didn't I just go for it and try that new hobby or clear out the house? Because when this is all over, we're all going to be able to see each other again, and we're all going to want to be outside and doing stuff and not be in the house. So write down a list of all the things you want to do when lockdown is over: seeing family and friends, walking in the park that you love. There's so many things that I'm so excited to do. So I've done a little lockdown bucket list, and that's getting me so excited and so motivated, because there is going to be a point where we'll be able to see each other again. So get excited for that point, but at the same time, enjoy this moment we're having now, because we're not going to have it again, and use it as an opportunity. This is an opportunity. If you are safe and well and at home, it's an opportunity for you to find what makes you happy. And happiness at the end of the day is the most important thing in the world. And like, making sure you are happy is just the most important thing. So that kind of brings me on to my conclusion. So I've spoken about a lot of points here, and hopefully I haven't been too much overwhelming, but there's so many things you can do while you're at home to not only make yourself happy, but to grow as a person and feel better in these crazy times. But if you've taken anything from this, stay connected with family and friends. Make your little home, your little brain, make it a happy place, and enjoy the time while it lasts, before we can all go back to normal and we're all going, oh, I miss the time when I stayed in my pajamas all day long, because I know some of you probably are. I have done, I know I have. So please just kind of make this as happy as you can and try and enjoy it as best as possible. And I think that's all my points in there. I know my time is running out, so overall, focus on what makes you happy, and please stay safe, and follow the advice. You don't need to stress yourself out more than you need to, and please donate. So this whole thing is all about donating to NHS Charities Together and Oxfordshire Mind, and I thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being in my little world for half an hour. I hope that there's brought you some joy in this crazy times. If you'd like to kind of keep on my journey, please do follow me on social media. It's all at Hannah Austin. I'm on all sorts of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm all over it. So please follow me. Please donate. Please stay safe, and please stay happy. And thank you so much for listening. It's been a joy. Sending you all lots and lots of love and hugs.